Hello, excuse the weird appearance. I've had work today. This is what I look like when I'm at work. Hi, I'm Amy. I realised I should introduce myself more in videos because I never do that. I don't drink. You probably already know this. I mention it quite a lot. Basically, I wanted to make this video to like reassure students essentially, or people coming into being a student soon. I want to talk a little bit about what it's like being a sober student. This is a video that I've actually made quite a few times for the university. I work with the university marketing team. I quite often make videos like this, but I thought I'd put one on my channel. I think I have one other video about being a sober student on this channel, and I thought I would talk about it. Now, the first thing that I want to say is that if you are someone coming to university soon who doesn't drink, I know that you're probably very nervous. Because I was as well. I wasn't particularly nervous about the university in general, but I was nervous about drinking culture and about if I was going to be looked down upon for not drinking. But mainly what I was worried about is being forced into situations where I was surrounded by a lot of drunk people and I did not want to be. So that was the main thing that I was concerned about. The first thing that I'm going to say in that my experience is that is going to happen a little bit. It's not going to happen as much as you think it will. It's probably going to happen in Freshers Week. You're probably going to end up having to be around a lot of drunk people, and the chances are there is going to be parties in your house or your flat at some point. But it's not as bad as you think it is. Honestly, you can just hide in your room until it goes away if you want to. You can message a friend and be like, can I come and stay at yours for the night or something like that. That is also a perfectly reasonable thing to do. Most of the time, university students, even if they're not up like partying into the night, will be awake at strange times, so you'll always be able to find someone if you just want to go and hide in somebody else's room for a bit because the music is bothering you or anything like that. And also, absolute worst case scenario, if your house is being a bit ridiculous, most universities have some sort of security you can call, but I can understand if you don't want to be like that person calling security. But it's up to you. I don't know what the situation is. If that's what the situation calls for, then, you know, ring security if you need to. For the most part, after Freshers Week, as in my experience, I didn't have to deal with a lot of people partying in the house and being around a lot of drunk people. Occasionally it did happen, but most of the time it only happened because I consented to it, because I agreed to go to a thing, or it happened very, very occasionally with people in my flat, and that was easy to avoid if I wanted to. Honestly, I don't think my university experience has been affected that much by not drinking alcohol. The biggest thing that it has affected is that I started a society, sober society, with a bunch of great people that I met in first year. And we started this by creating a group chat, and this is something that I would highly recommend you guys do. Two things. I would either suggest that you find out if your university has a sober society, and if it doesn't, start a sober society. Honestly, I've had so much fun doing this. I get to organise all sorts of fun events and do things that I probably wouldn't have done without the society, and I get to put a cool thing on my CV when I leave university. Like, how is this not a win? We set ours up really easily. We literally just, when you get your offer for university, the chances are you will get into a bunch of Facebook groups and added to a bunch of Facebook group chats or WhatsApp group chats where people are trying to chat to each other and meet each other before university starts. I was added to a bunch before my degree started, and I've been added to a bunch now for people who are coming into the masters, to chat to some people so that they know some people when they start their masters, for people who aren't already students here. It's a thing that will probably end up happening. So when you get into those groups, ask who doesn't drink. Ask not necessarily who doesn't drink, but isn't that into drinking and might not drink a lot. Make a group chat of people who are interested in sober activities. Now, you can either take this to what I did, which is become an official society, or you can use this as a venting group chat, or a group chat to find people to go hide in the room of if your house are drinking, or a group chat to make friends. It is a very easy way to, instead of making it so that you're the outlier in a community, make your own little community where, in that sense, everyone has this similar shared experience. That is honestly the biggest thing that I can advise to do, and it was the biggest thing that helped me. But also have a look. So when I started second year, I found out that a bunch of first years who were coming in that year had made one of these group chats without knowing that Sober Society existed, and I got added to this group chat, and I was like, listen, you guys do your thing. If you want to be this little separate community, that's absolutely fine, but Sober Society exists. A lot of them ended up joining Sober Society, So yeah, if you do have a sober society and you don't like them for whatever reason, or you just want to start your own thing for like whatever reason you want, doesn't really matter, then you can do that. But I would also suggest seeing if there is any sober society at your university, because we are growing. There is quite a few of us, and if you are interested in starting one, then all of my contact details are in the description. Contact me, send me a message. I'm happy to set up like a Zoom call or something and chat to you about setting one up. I've done that before. I think I did that for Manchester Sober Society, but yeah, I'm happy to chat with you about setting one up if you are interested in doing that. Speaking of societies, there's other societies that you can join that aren't necessarily a sober society that will do sober events. For example, joining things like a crafting society or a knitting society aren't going to be surrounding alcohol. Yes, there might be alcohol involved, so unless you are someone who absolutely cannot be around alcohol for whatever reason, then maybe they might not be the best, but most of them will have, most of the time, socials that are sober, even if they do have drinking socials every now and again. So it's definitely a thing that I would recommend joining. Societies in general are a thing that I would recommend joining. They are so good. If you aren't a member of a society, if you are joining university and you are becoming a student, and join as many societies as you can. Don't do what I did, which is join too many and then be like, oh no, I can't do all of these, I'm just going to leave and then start my own, because that's how my brain works. You know, you can pace yourself. You can be like, this is the one that I definitely want to try, give it a go for a few weeks, and then start another one. But do stick at it for a few weeks. When you first enter the society, it's going to feel very strange, because you're not going to know anyone, and it's going to be a social setting where you don't know anyone, so it's going to be weird. But stick at it. It is worth it. You just got to push through the first couple of weeks. It is definitely worth it. The other tip that I would give to people is be as open as soon as you can with them. I made it very clear to my house that I didn't drink very, very early on. In fact, I think I did it in the group chat before I even met any of them in person. Do it as early as you can, because otherwise you're going to have to find yourself making excuses, or you're going to have to tell people when the people around you are already drunk, and that's when it's going to get weird. I found that if you don't tell people in advance and you meet them when they're drunk, because you meet them at a party or something like that, and you tell them that you don't drink, the response is always, why don't you do that? Just try this. Why haven't you drunk? And you get like an interview questions about why you don't drink and them trying to force drinks on you. But the experience hasn't happened when I've told people beforehand when they're sober and when I'm sober, and like, you know, we're all in a completely different setting. If you tell them then there is no expectation at all. If they do have any questions, you can answer them or not answer them if you do not wish to. But then it's over with and nobody expects you to drink. So when it comes to a drinking setting, you'll find nobody does the interview. That's what's happened in my experience anyway. Obviously, you're not going to be able to do that with everyone. Some people you are just going to meet at chance because your flatmates have invited them round. But I would suggest doing it as early as possible and making it as obvious as possible. Don't be worried about shoving it in people's faces. I know that sounds like a stupid thing to say, but like, how many conversations have you been in that alcohol has been brought up? Like, you're allowed to talk about sobriety just as much as other people are allowed to talk about alcohol. People talk about alcohol a lot. The final thing that I'm going to say is, like, it's going to be fine. I've spoken to so many people where being sober is the main thing that's made them nervous for university, but I have many sober friends and people who don't drink a lot, and it's fine. They're all fine. We're all good. None of us have had massively traumatic experiences, and none of us are really traumatized by the fact that we don't drink. None of us feel isolated by the fact that we don't drink. Like, it is going to be okay. If you are really worried about this, then again, if you contact me from any of the links in the description, my Instagram and things, send me a message and I can put you in contact with the current York Sober Society. We're running a lot of online events, so you guys are welcome to come along to some of them, even if you're not a York student. I would ask that probably don't come to a whole bunch of them, but if you do want to sort of see what a sober society is like, or talk to some people who are sober, you are welcome to join. And we also have a group chat which I can add you in, but again, normal rules apply. Please be respectful. If you're not a York student, then you are totally welcome to join, but like, as you can't pay for membership and things, just like bear that in mind when you're doing things. If you don't have any other option, obviously you're welcome to come along. If you do have another option, make sure you explore that first, or at least explore that when you can, just because you want to keep it to being at your university, and we want to like keep it a safe space, so we're not, you know, opening it to everyone, but people are welcome to come and have a chat if you need to have a chat. I think that's all I'm going to talk about today. Leave your questions down in the comments, questions that you have for a sober student, and I'm more than happy to answer them. I can also ask them in our Sober Society group chat, and I can get a whole bunch of answers. If any of you guys watching this are members of Sober Society, so put your advice down in the comments, advice that you would give to your past self, or advice that you would give to upcoming students who are sober, or current students who are sober. Let's get a conversation going in the comments. It can be super interesting and maybe help some people out at the same time. If you have any questions or questions, then leave them down in the comments. New videos every Wednesday. Like, subscribe, and all that jazz. And I'll see you next week. Bye.